Good morning. It is day 25 of our Lent readings for 2022, and we're going to look now at the letters over the next few days of 1 and 2 Timothy and Titus, which are known together as the pastoral epistles. They're letters, again, written by Paul, but not to congregations or churches. They're written to individuals. It would seem at the end of Acts, Paul is in prison, but must be released at some point and begin a fourth missionary journey. During that time, he leaves Titus in Crete and Timothy in Ephesus to oversee the churches there. And that sometime later, Paul is writing to them and to encourage them in their ministry. As such, these are some of the last writings that we have from Paul. As I said, we'll look at those over the next few days, and we're going to start now with 1 Timothy. Timothy was a young man we meet first of all in Acts 16. He grew up in Lystra. He had a Jewish mother and a Greek father, but he's recommended to Paul as a spiritual young man. So Paul takes him on his missionary journeys and disciples him. At this point, Timothy is in Ephesus as a young man leading the church there. And Paul is writing to him to encourage and instruct him. And we're going to look at 1 Timothy chapter 6 and what Paul tells Timothy in regards to money. So let's read together. These are the things you are to teach and insist on. If anyone teaches otherwise and does not agree to the sound instruction of our Lord Jesus Christ and to godly teaching, they are conceited and understand nothing. They have an unhealthy interest in controversies and quarrels about words that result in envy, strife, malicious talk and evil suspicions, and constant friction between people of corrupt mind, who have been robbed of the truth and who think that godliness is a means to financial gain. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we'll be content with that. Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. Paul identifies here three people. Those who see the gospel as a means for great financial gain, those who put money before the gospel as their priority, and those who find satisfaction in the gospel aside from money. So that first lot, those who see the gospel as a means for financial gain. Paul doesn't exactly say how are they doing that, but for some reason, some people are using the gospel to gain financially. People always jump onto bandwagons and try and make money and milk them, don't they? There are probably people already at this point in the year trying to work out what the next big thing at Christmas will be so that they can try to get ahead of the game. And at this point, the next big thing in Ephesus was Christianity. Christianity was blossoming, and some people saw this as an opportunity. And though we don't know how they did that, whether they were looking for money for ministry or how, what we do know of Ephesus, if you remember, the Temple of Artemis was a big financial money maker for the silversmiths particularly, and maybe people would move from making money from Artemis to trying to make money out of Christianity. Paul warns against them. The next group are those who put money before the gospel. They are people that their priority is security financially, and they will do whatever they need to do to become financially secure. And the gospel is great for them. They'll be at church on Sundays, but priority wise it's making money. And you can see that today. There's always those people that say, well, all I need to do is get to this sort of financial income, or all I need to do is win the lottery or just inherit money, and then everything will be secure. But the gospel says that your security is not in these things, but it's in God. That's where our security lies. And Paul says that those who've chased after money have pierced themselves with many griefs. Some have even wandered from the faith. Let me just emphasize this. If that's how your life orientates, if your priority is being financially secure rather than putting your security in the gospel, then be warned. As it says here, for the root of for money is the root of all kinds of evil, and some seeking financial gain have wandered from the truth and pierced themselves with many griefs. Don't let that be you. The third group are people, Paul says, who have found contentment in the gospel. That they have found such security in the gospel that the finances aren't their priority. They finance, as long as they've got enough food to eat and they've got a roof over their head, they can rejoice. Now you might say, well, what about things like, say luxuries? Is it right to have luxuries as a Christian in your life? On occasion, yeah. God made all of this creation for our enjoyment. It can be a danger if we start to focus more on the creation than the creator. But let me just suggest 4 questions to ask when we're looking at such things as when we're spending money on something beyond what we would normally do. Firstly, is it good for my soul and for those around me? What effect will it have upon me? Sometimes things like a great holiday can be a great blessing, but just think of that. Secondly, is it good for efficiency? By having something, for example, a more reliable car or a better computer, because it helps us to be more efficient in the work we do, that God may be glorified. Thirdly, what does it say to the world? Everything we do will speak to the world, those who are not believers looking in. What does it tell the world about priorities? Fourthly, by using our money in this way, does it help or hinder me doing other things? Does it prevent me from serving the Lord in another area, giving financially in another area? Or does it enable me to do more for God's glory? There's a great passage in the end of Proverbs 30, which is a wonderful thing to finish today and reflect upon as we consider the financial blessing that the Lord has given to each one of us. It says this: "Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. Otherwise I may have too much and disown you, and say, 'Who is the Lord?' Or I may become poor and steal, and so dishonour the name of the Lord." Let's learn the secret of being content. Till next time, have a blessed day.